Well, I'm excited to be here with Atlanta-based Popmenu, who just a couple weeks ago raised a pretty big Series B round. And I'm excited to hear your story, how you guys got started, what's new, and what's next for the company. So I'd love for you to introduce yourself and let me know kind of how Popmenu got off the ground and why are you guys here in Atlanta?
Yeah, so Popmenu started conceptually in 2014. I was at Career Builder, where I was VP of product for Europe, and two of my co-founders were also in that business. And kind of a long story short, I mean, I did a lot of the culture building between our different offices. We had about 12 offices in Europe. I was setting up a team meeting in Paris and comparing three restaurants when it hit me like, while each of these has a text PDF for their menu. This is the most famous food city in the world. These are some of the most famous restaurants in the world. And the best we could do is text. And I think then it clicked with me. It's not just the small suburban restaurants around me in Atlanta, or whomever it is, it's everyone. It's a PDF. And I just couldn't, being an internet product person for 20 years, I was like, why? Like, how does that make sense? And so started to get curious about that and started to dig in and really focus on, from a consumer perspective, what would be more compelling, a more compelling way for restaurants to present their food, which for me is everything. That's your inventory, that's your story, how you plate, what your ingredients are, how you differentiate your dishes. That's all kind of what draws us into one restaurant versus another. And I just thought it was amazing. They didn't differentiate themselves online. And so started coming up with some sketches and drawings and prototypes. That's what product people do. And got excited thinking about, wow, there's some space here to innovate. And then really at that time as well, there's this massive shift in consumer behavior, heavy mobile, heavy near me searches. And I just was thinking, wow, this is going to change. It's going to have to, because it's not going to, this PDF thing's not going to transport to mobile. And so that was the beginning of it. And then I got recruited into a company called Commissions Inc., which is located in the Atlanta area, and it's SaaS for real estate teams. And I headed up product there. And what I really learned there was how SaaS can be used to help a small local business take some control back from a large, sophisticated third-party platform. And so there we help local real estate teams take some control back from Zillow. And what we really did was take that consumer experience that Zillow had, that all of us wanted, that was so much better than what was there before, and we put it in the local team's website under their control. And so that was actually a really fast growing business. We ended up selling it in less than 2 years. And so I was free to go. And now I have this playbook for helping, small local SaaS contend with large, technically sophisticated third-party platform. That paired up with this consumer idea on menus just seemed to make too much sense. And so 4 of us came together. We did a lean canvas, which is like a really skinny business plan. I mean, our story has been we started with a concept that was, hey, third-party platforms have too much control over how, at the time, when we started, it was over how consumers find their next dining destination. And so Yelp, TripAdvisor, OpenTable, we thought, well, why do they have so much control over how a restaurant's story is told? And so that's when we said, well, it's because they have the criteria that we want when we're making a dining decision. They have photos, reviews, ratings, social validation. So we started off by saying, let's put all that into the restaurant menu under their control, and that'll help them tell their story better and differentiate.
So you recognized that there was a need to change how restaurants present their menus to potential customers, which has been a problem for a long time now, as you mentioned. How has your business changed? How have you been able to reach your clients and your customers during the change for restaurants during COVID and the rest of 2020?
Yeah, great question, a great point. And, everyone says that all digital trends were accelerated through COVID, and this was such a lagging industry technology-wise that it's more so the case for us than probably any other space. And so, I mean, we say that we saw 10 years worth of trends in 10 weeks. And so it does feel like a much different business now than even a year ago when at this time we had just finished our Series A. I mean, we ended up, we're really agile on the development side, and we really listened to our clients. So instantly we just said, hey, how can we help? And so what started up at first, the need was to help them better communicate with their, with their customer base. And so we help them with things like templates for explaining how are they handling COVID. We help them with get communications out about, while our menu's totally changed, now it's curbside, now it's family meals, now you can get toilet paper with and so the communication piece was what we had already been doing it, but it became way more critical. And you can think of the local restaurants around you, what have they been doing during COVID? The ones that are making it have been really communicative. Like they're letting you know everything they're doing. And then you also kind of want to support them more because you can see that they're trying. So the communication piece just kind of blew up, immediately and became just critical. But then we built online ordering into the platform. And so we made the decision to put all company resource onto online ordering for a 2-week period, get it built, get it launched. Our customers needed it. And so actually it was 2 weeks. On March 27th, we launched with 3 Atlanta area restaurants and we were off and running. And so from there, in our first month, we did over $1 million in online orders on behalf of our clients, through the platform. And it's only grown since. And that's really had a major effect on the business in that we already had this really deep functional platform that did so many different things. But then you tie in the transaction, it actually makes all of those things we're already doing more effective. And then those also influence the transaction piece to where this great consumer experience with the photos and reviews and ratings, all of that stuff, it actually does drive more online orders than just a static white, black and white text page. I mean, that's the chunk of what happened. And we've iterated on all of that since then, every single week.
Gosh, a 2-week launch of online ordering. Did your team even sleep or have time to eat? That's an amazing timeline.
Some of them didn't. There was this really, we really bonded with our clients during that time. We were freaked out. They're freaked out. What's going to happen? We don't know, but we're just going to put our head down and do the best we can. And so I think that energy of well, we want to help you. And sure, that's self-serving too, but it was really kind of, it was win-win, us and our client. If we can obviously help our clients weather the storm, they're going to remain our clients and we still have a business. And so everyone had this, it was a really unique time of just all jamming in together, doing late nights, not knowing what was going to happen, but just getting up every day and doing as much as you could. And so we're super proud of how the team got through that. We were a young team. And we, we had pretty smooth sailing as far as the economy through the whole existence of this business. And so that was a the biggest, test we could have as a first test. And the way everybody just pulled together and worked hard and really did what was in the best interest of our clients really has paid off.
That's great. And I'd love to dive a little bit more into the team. So you said it's a young team. It sounds like very customer focused and focused on making sure that restaurants are able to reach their customers. I'd love to dive in and understand a little bit more who's on your current team. What does it look like? And how do you, in this remote culture, keep a team together?
Right. Well, we were lucky on that front. We've been remote the whole time we were running the business, actually until March 1st. March 1st, we took our office. March 13th, we closed it. And so that was a bit of a bummer, but it also meant that we were really well suited to get things done in a remote environment. It wasn't new for us. Everybody was ready for it. And that even goes back to our days when we were working in Europe, in that you're always not somewhere. And our team was dispersed over 12 or 13 offices. So we were used to it. And so that really helped. And so what the team looks like now is it's about 85 people, almost 30 in sales. We're hiring a lot. I mean, we're tripling our kind of development, product and UX team. During the kind of middle of the COVID crisis, we did some company building, filling out roles we hadn't added before. And so we have a fantastic head of talent. We brought in a general counsel. We brought in a VP of finance. And so part of the good of it was, I mean, we were growing like crazy heading into really into March, and we did slow down a bit. We kept we kept most hiring frozen, and we just kind of were trying to be responsible and see what was going to happen. But that also let us kind of, settle down some onboarding, some client experience, and fill in some of these roles and kind of get the foundation of the company in place to really scale.
That's great. So as you're starting to scale, what do you look for in someone to potentially bring on to your team, be it in sales or product or what have you?
Yeah, I mean, competence is the easy one. I think you can pretty easily tell if someone can do a job or not. What's really hard is, I mean, we just love enthusiasm. We're a super positive team. We wouldn't have gone through COVID the way we did without really seeing the bright side and, every day looking at kind of the glass is half full. I mean, positivity is my number one thing. That doesn't mean that you're positive even when you shouldn't be. It means you're constantly looking at the upside in any situation and figuring out how you can continue to build on that. And the people who come in and are positive and excited are the ones that we know are going to stick around for a while. And also, this is based on restaurants. It started with food pictures. If you don't get excited about that and being able to work with food and work with restaurants, then you probably shouldn't do that. You can go work in anything that's boring. You can work in all kinds of back office stuff, whatever. Most of the time when I know someone's going to work out, they apply for the job and then they message like 10 of us. Not that I'm encouraging this, but they message like 10 of us and they're like, my parents had a restaurant. I grew up in a restaurant. I love working in restaurants. This is this. I love when we get those stories and get that real enthusiasm. And also, you have to be excited about having an impact.
It's an important time to make sure that you're able to support local businesses and local restaurants, weather this storm and continue to innovate. And so it's an exciting opportunity for people on your team to be able to directly make that change and make that impact.
I mean, it's really an unforeseen thing. When we started the business, we thought it just seemed cool. It seemed like it would be cool to have menus that look great and do all these different things. And then we started to get to know restaurateurs and we're like, wow, you kind of been abused by technology. It could be third-party platforms screwing them over. It could be local contractor or an agency or whatever. I can't tell you how many people we've run into where it's like, yeah, this guy's holding my domain hostage, or this person won't let my data go. And so we get fired up that we're actually on their side. We're actually helping them. We're actually doing things in a way that's different than what they're used to. And so, we've gone on this journey of like, this could be cool. And then it's like, wait, this could really be helpful. And then we get into COVID and it's like, yeah, when you get to 100% off premises dining and then you're paying 30% margins to a big marketplace, a big famous online ordering delivery company, we get pissed off. We're like, that's wrong. You're not going to be able to run a business that way. It's too much. And we want to help, we really, really want to help find ways to get it done in a more efficient way that makes the business more successful. And what's crazy is, we didn't expect the bond between us and our clients to get as strong as it has. And in the depth of COVID, I mean, we got dozens and dozens and dozens of messages from restaurants saying we wouldn't be here without you, and we appreciate you being here for us. And that's like humbling. It's emotional at times. It's been a lift, through the hard times. It's like, keep going. This is working. This is making a difference, And so that is, if you don't get fired up by that, you definitely should do something else.